Hey guys! It's time for the ninth episode of F4. This show will all be about champs recap and some reactions to two champs. But let's not waste any time. Let's get to our main overlay and introduce all of our co-hosts for today. So on my left, I have the beautiful Anthony. Anthony, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Anthony from Team 997. This last weekend I was field reset on the Newton Field for Champs.
And then we'll go to the not so beautiful Addy.
Okay, sorry guys, my webcam is bad again, but I am Adi from Team 226 from this part of Michigan, if I'm holding it right. Yes, I am. From this part of Michigan. But anyway, yep.
Yep, okay, and then Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan from Team 4391 out of Gladstone, Michigan, which is like here, like at the bottom of the Upper Peninsula.
Oh, so you're in the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah,
Ooh. Okay,
So
what time zone?
Eastern.
Okay, so he's
We're
still
all
Eastern.
Eastern.
We're all. Oh, wow. No, we're
Not
not.
all of us.
Anthony's
No,
West.
no.
He's
It says Anthony.
Pacific.
Yeah, I'm West.
All right, great. All right, so we'll start with divisions. So I think the only bullet point in this is how stacked the new division is, and then ended up not, winning the whole thing, and they didn't even move past quarterfinals, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk a little bit about that. So I'll start. Anthony and I both were field resetting on Newton, so we watched every single match. And I could tell you that, a different alliance that might have won from Newton might have been able to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, some may say the wrong alliance won Newton. I don't think I believe that, just because, they won. That's their thing, like, you can't take that away from them. But they might not have been the kind of alliance that was going to win champs. But yeah, Anthony, you have anything to talk about with that?
I feel like the Thunder Chickens Code Orange alliance was a very solid alliance, and they definitely gave Poofs a run for their money and actually won it. But I believe that on the Einstein field, the Poofs alliance might have had that extra edge that would have taken them at least past quarters, if not all the way to finals.
I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is, a lot of people would argue if 708 didn't tip, they would be on Einstein. They possibly could have won Einstein. So now, I mean, I don't want to call out 708 great team. I mean, all the graphics you see right now, except for the logo, the intro, that was all made by a member of 708. But they arguably were the reason why they weren't able to win this year. I mean, that alliance was pretty stacked. You had 1241 Theory 6, who was, one of the best robots there. They ended up seating first. And, I mean, for once, 254 was not an alliance captain. I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often. So, I mean, it might have been a different, result if stuff went just slightly different in eliminations. Anybody else has anything to say about that?
Well, I feel like you
Yeah.
can't. Oh, sorry. You can go
No,
first.
that's okay. You go.
I feel like you can't just chalk it up just to 708 because everybody on the alliance could have played better. There could have. They had two matches to win it because if I remember right, the Theory 6 Poofs alliance won one of the matches, and Code Orange and Thunder Chickens won the other two. So
Correct.
that's two matches that they had to win it.
And they
And
didn't.
they just didn't. And if 708 only tipped once, right?
I thought they tipped twice. They tipped twice. They got themselves up once.
Okay. Yeah.
Losing that
Yes.
capture though was kind of the downfall.
Yeah.
And part of funny. The reason why they weren't actually able to right themselves up the second time was because their bumpers were wedged up against the divider. If they weren't wedged up against the divider, they would have been able to right themselves. The torque rate, the gearing on their arm is something Uber. It's like 640 to 20 to 1 or something like that. It's something nuts. I remember reading the technical notebook before champs and going, okay, they would be able to right themselves if they ever fell, and then they did, and then they right themselves, and that was awesome. But yeah, ended with a different result than a lot of people were thinking. Ryan, do you have anything to comment on this?
I didn't directly see the matches. I was on Tesla, but basically, from what I can see of everything, all the matches set up in first are set up so that even if there is a bad match, that say you get a red card or something happens like that, there's always going to be a backup match to solidify a winning. And I'm not saying that maybe the people who won should have won, or the people who didn't win should have won, or anything like that, but it is whatever team did win, it's usually not by fluke luck or a fluke chance like that. So it really is down to pure skill and
Execution, really.
Yeah.
execution based on those factors. And the things that happen for bad luck, that's one of the things that you have to look at as a team, as looking at what can happen and trying to plan for that. Some of those you can't, but some of those you might be able to.
Some wins are by accident, though. Some are by luck. Like, specifically, our first semifinal match at our Athens competition, we were up against 2337 Engineers, and they tipped over. And that's what allowed us to get the win. But then we couldn't win any of our other semifinal matches.
Yeah, we did that. We had that once at our off-season competition in 2015. We were finalists on the alliance, but the other alliance was just that much better, and then they tipped over a stack and finals won, and then we won. If they didn't tip over that stack, though, we wouldn't have been close, and they ended up killing us the next few matches.
I would just like to clarify one thing that about the finals. Apparently, it only went to 2 finals, not 3.
Okay.
The Code Orange Thunder Chickens Alliance took it both times.
All right. Was 708 in both those matches, or either of those matches? I'm trying.
708 was in the first one. The second match was 1731.
Yeah. So now I remember correctly. The first match that 708 tipped was semifinals.
Yes,
And
I believe
then
so.
that's when they got themselves back up, and then the next match they switched them out. And I think if 708 was able to stay upright and be in both those matches, they would have been better off, just because 708's climber was so consistent, and they were also pretty good defenders as well. So, you look back on stuff like that, you can't do anything about it. I mean, Thunder Chickens Alliance played a really, really good game. I mean, you look at who they eliminated, it's crazy. I mean,
If you look at
everybody
the bots,
everybody thought was gonna win Worlds, they eliminated.
Yeah.
if you look at the bots on the Thunder Chicken Alliance and who they played with, great teams. 3476 Code Orange, phenomenal robot, and they got their climber working.
Yeah, the 3.8-pound climber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was phenomenal.
Yeah. So I mean,
And then 4678 with their autos being able to breach any defense and having a very consistent shooter.
that was the Cybercavs, right?
I'm gonna double check. Yep, Cybercavs.
Yeah, I mean, that Sallyport and Drawbridge autonomouses were nuts. I mean, not only did they cross the Sallyport and Drawbridge and autonomous, they also shot a high goal. So, like, I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, no other robot in the world can do that, other than them, I believe. I think Rush does a Drawbridge autonomous, but not Sally. I'm pretty sure the only one with a Sally. Because that's really hard. I got some pictures of the manipulator. I'm gonna try to replicate it, but it's not as complicated as you think, but what's complicated is the motion profiling that they made it, work so well.
Yeah, that was one of the main things that once I saw the finals matches on Einstein, that was the one thing that stuck out to me the most of all.
Yeah. All right. So basically, what we learned is that it doesn't matter how stacked your division is, it does not mean you're gonna win. I mean, this was the most stacked alliance ever by far. I mean, the most stacked division ever by far in champs, based on OPR.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they were eliminated first round.
I mean, one thing that really struck me was how fast Robonauts got eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, their shooter was just off. I mean, you saw at the end of qualifications, they just weren't making shots at all. And then just the entire eliminations, they were just missing.
Did you hear what happened? Or at least what I heard happened?
No, I did not. Possibly.
So I heard that they were on the practice field and they had a misfire with their catapult hitting the low bar, bending their catapult, so they had to put in their replacement one, which wasn't as tuned.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just rumors I've heard. So.
Did you hear it from the person that was field resetting on our field that happened to be from Team 118? Because that might have been a decent person to hear it from. Or I mean, we had a lot of
I can't
people.
remember who I heard it from.
We had
to
a
be
lot of
honest.
we had a lot of people dribbling around from 118 on our field.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll move off Noon, as cool as it is, and go to Einstein.
Boom.
Yeah.
So the first bullet point on Einstein is 330's performance. 330 gave me a lot of heart attacks. Did
Wait.
someone just drop?
Oh.
Ryan?
Is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello?
Everyone?
Oh,
no one
wait,
dropped.
hold up.
Everybody get your webcams back up.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know why.
What happened?
I don't know.
that was
Okay.
weird.
Skype
Oh.
can be stupid.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is being okay. Oh. Okay, I don't know why that happened. So yeah, we'll just move past that. So yeah, 330 gave me a lot of heart attacks. As well as probably most of you guys. Just them falling and then coming back up and then missing their
Yeah.
climb and falling again and like it was just nuts.
That was intense to watch. Like I was watching it on Twitch in my family room, Chromecasting it to my to my TV. That was intense to watch. Like I was at the edge of my seat, biting my nails. It was really close.
And I mean, I was rooting for the 2056 Alliance, to be completely honest.
Yeah, same.
Just because, I mean, I had the streak shirt on, like I was ready to go at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's still no biting performance.
Well, I have to say, when they were falling, I was sitting front seat in Einstein section. Shout out to 2990, some of my friends from the Willamette Valley here who were on Einstein and were actually against them in that match. So, great performance by 330, but 2990, great defense, and yeah.
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 All right. So 2056 losing a streak, losing another streak. Eddie, did you
Well,
put that
they
in?
had a streak after Windsor. They were starting another streak.
Oh,
after Windsor.
okay. Yeah. So they lost another streak on a foul. So
That was sad.
this is not the year for 2056, is what we learned. Just not a fun year. I mean, I really wanted them to win, and then the tie, and like the fact that their lines had they had chance, like they had time to shoot a high goal, which would have won.
Do you guys
I don't
know
know-
why? Do you guys know why the foul happened? Because
It
was
was
yeah,
pinning,
it was
I
pinning,
believe.
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was the pinning.
They got a foul
Yes.
every single game, basically. When I saw that it was, you can call it a tie before it's over if the refs are doing their job correctly. And I mean, they were all head refs in Einstein, so usually they do pretty well. And I noticed at the end, like, it was going to be tied, so there was two hangs on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Two hangs
Yeah.
on both sides, and the score was tied before that, so...
So how do you guys feel about it being decided by tiebreakers and fouls?
I would like to use profanity at this point, but it's blank stupid, okay?
Yeah,
I mean...
At this point, at that high level of gameplay from everyone, I think a lot of people were just disappointed that it ended in a tie versus going to an extra round where one team clearly had a victory over another and whatnot, because this tie, even though it was somewhat apparent and pre-decided, it'll still be debatable for the next year or so.
Yeah.
yeah. The
And
thing
that's
about
the thing that'll hurt people.
this tie rule is not needed. I don't like the tie rule. How fouls get added onto the other team's score and they get subtracted from your
It's
score.
a double, and I mean, these are not...
Yeah, it's double jeopardy.
I get it. I get the whole. I mean, I get why they do it, but it's just at such a high level. Einstein. I mean, the biggest problem is not even us. It's not even the FRC community. The biggest problem is how do I go? When I'm introducing next year the freshmen to it, and I go, we always watch Einstein finals. Just show them like this is the big show. I'm gonna be like, so this match ended on a tie, and they won. Like it doesn't make sense to someone who's never seen this before. They won
Well,
on foul points, and
Yeah.
that's a turnoff to a lot of people.
That happened to us also at our Athens competition. We would have made it to finals if it weren't for a foul on us because of our climber attaching. If we didn't get that foul, we would have made it to finals, and then we would have made it to MSC and Worlds.
Well, question: did you was that a tie and then the foul points, or if it's just a plain somebody won on a one because they were getting fouled a ton.
No, no.
Uh,
It was a 5-point, the frame perimeter rule, it was a 5-point foul. We would have won by 1 point had it not been for the 5-point frame perimeter rule on our robot. Because we tried extending our arm to scale, but we didn't have enough time, or I think it was a mechanical issue, but we didn't have enough time to scale. We didn't scale, so because of that caused a foul on us. And the foul points got added to their team, and they won by 4 points.
well, I think foul points winning by those are okay, but the fact that it was a tie and it was going to tiebreakers is the big issue. So
Yeah.
if you're fouling other teams and they beat you because you're fouling them a ton and they rack up the foul points, that's perfectly legitimate because it's de-incentivizing fouling, and you shouldn't be fouling it. But it's the fact that it was 225 to 225 with 5 foul points for the Beach Bots Alliance.
I mean, actually, someone just mentioned that in 2011 they gave you an additional point when it was a tie. So one of the winners was clear, and I think something as simple as that would have made this a very different conclusion. It's just the fact that on that scoreboard at the end of the match, the scores were the same.
Yeah.
That's a difference when you're talking to someone that doesn't know stuff about first. If there was just a single point on that other score. And that's, I mean, that's just, like, no one would care if they added that to the rule book. No one would care if they added that to the FMS. They just didn't. I don't...
They should have done another match. Just do another match. It's the same
I-
score. Do another match.
I'm willing to bet everyone on both alliances would mutually agree on it.
Yeah.
Even though, I
Yep.
mean, no one wants to win on a tie.
Well, no matter which way you cut it, a loss is a loss and a win is a win. The only real thing is from a spectator perspective. All of those people that may be looking at sponsorship, if First was looking at getting some kind of televised option for this, some networks would look at this and say the rules are too complicated for an audience to figure out.
Yeah.
It's like there's a tie yet somebody wins. That
Yeah,
So-
that's a turn off for people who don't know the rules.
They would have to
So-
simplify the rules, and it would have to be a simpler game. I think this
Yeah.
game would be terrible to televise.
This
I'm
cycle
still
of-
trying to figure out how to
Cats.
say this game in like 30 seconds to someone.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. It takes me at least a minute.
What about Recycle Rush? I know people would be bored of it, but it's simple to explain.
Recycle
Why
Rush would have
do
actually, I think, it would be an
cycles?
easier game to televise.
The only problem with Recycle Rush was the point system. The point system was very, very hard to explain.
three-time multiplier with like
Yeah.
the recycle bands.
Well, I have a question. Is that actually the only problem, or is the rest of the game a problem too?
Well,
Okay, we're gonna
this-
not talk it like that.
Yeah.
I liked Recycle Rush. Okay.
I liked Recycle
Well-
Rush after it got intense at Worlds.
You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy for people like us who have been in it to look from the inside and say, well, it's easy to understand when we've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah.
You know, like the basic way of doing things, like there's 3v3, but you're really trying to get points for yourself and the other team doesn't matter, but the win matters.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to explain in that respect as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they should do some kind of game where it's simpler like last year, but then too, it's more easier to understand.
I think the last
And
game
it's more
that's good,
entertaining.
the last game that should have been televised was 2014. 2013 could have been televised as well. 2012 could have
Yeah.
been televised as well. 2011 is the game that could not be televised. I'm sorry.
So-
2010 could have been televised too.
So, back to the Einstein results. I do think that BeachBots did deserve the win, though. Eventually.
Yeah, I mean, just their finishes and like just the resilience of that bot. I mean, they definitely deserve the win.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
BeachBots and their whole alliance. I mean,
yeah, no, I
I
mean,
remember one of my mentors pointing out, God, the Roboteers. Can't remember what number they are, but one of the.
they're in the twos, right? I believe
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's
I'm gonna
yeah.
double check.
2481, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2481, amazing bot. I love the way that they were shooting just a giant finger poking the ball to trigger the shooting.
Yeah, that was I ended up watching because I didn't see their robot until then. Like, yeah, I don't like to say that, but yeah, I did not see their robot until then. Actually, in fact, the only robot I saw in that alliance until like Einstein was 330. But yeah, I watched the reveal video over and I saw that. I was like, interesting. And yes, Einstein team with a reveal video. I always like that. I don't know why more teams don't do them. They're fun. Okay, so yeah, so I guess that kind of our next bullet point was just results. Results were okay. I just wish it wasn't a tie. I think the right alliance did win. I just wish it wasn't a tie.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, all the alliances out there, I would have been okay with any of them winning.
Yeah.
Because all of them were unbelievably good.
I mean,
They
probably the
really
most favored.
worked hard and deserved to be there.
Probably the most favored going in was the 148-1678 alliance.
No, or the 2056 alliance. I'd say that's favored also.
Or the 3476 Thunder 217 alliance. I mean, they won Newton, so everybody expected the Newton alliance to win.
If you threw all 8 of those alliances back onto the field right afterwards,
we would have a different result.
Yeah, we'd have a very different result. It's just so close.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, this game was just close in general. There was no robot this year that, you know, like the most dominant robots of the year. I saw that thread popping up on Chief Delphi. It always does. There's none. I can't.
There's
I'm
no
not
72s. There's no
71.
71.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
higher.
71 plus 1 for the tiebreaker.
There you go.
Okay. There's no 71s. There's no 469s.
Yeah. Well, 469, I know why they didn't make it. Well, they did bad. It's MSC. It's the point system. They didn't make it to MSC even.
Yeah, I know. Neither did.
I'm referring to their 2010.
10.
Robot.
Yeah.
Robot. I'm giving examples of
dominant robots
past year.
Yeah, I mean, and even like 254 in 2014. I mean, basically all full court shooters in 2013. I mean, those were the dominant robots. There was not robots in these fields that I said that's the dominant one. Anybody could have won this, and I think that was a good game for first. I mean, that's a big feature I think of this year's games. Like last year, the games. There was very dominant robots. Like I told you, in our finals matches, we knew who the winner was going to be before we started.
Yeah.
Because they were just better. That was it.
You seed first and you win.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I feel as if they did the average system this year, that might have, for elims, the average system, everything would have changed if they did averages.
Yeah, ranking points was I'm not going to call it a bad ranking system. It was weird.
It was weird, yeah.
It changed the incentive for different levels of play.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, the way the ranking points worked, you could basically go flawless for all of your games throughout regionals and districts and things and still not make it to World Championships based on how those add up in the long run.
So people are screaming about averages, so that's fun. But anyway, I think we've beat this topic to death. The Worlds was cool. Now let's talk about what it's going to be like next year. 2 champs, guys! So I believe 3 of us are going to be at the same champs if we all make it. So that would be Ryan, Addy, and I would all be at the St. Louis/Detroit. Well, in St. Louis next year.
St. Louis, yeah.
Yeah, and Anthony would be in Houston.
Yep, gonna get more barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
I mean,
thing
both
have
of them
to
are.
comment. Okay.
What do you have to comment?
2018, I can literally walk. Well, not walk. I'm 30 minutes away from champs. So even if my team doesn't make it, I can still volunteer champs.
I'm still 7 hours away.
Yeah, I think it's slightly closer. It's like instead of 17 hours, I think it's 14 hours. No, 15 hours.
It's about the same flight for me
What, from Houston to
Portland.
Okay. It would be cheaper actually, even though Houston's farther from New York. It'd be a cheaper flight because it's their, bigger ports, like cities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks that we're. But once it's Detroit, I mean, our team it'll be cheaper again.
Yeah.
But yeah, St. Louis is on the more expensive side just because you can only get regional jets from New York City to St. Louis, or you can go from St. Louis, Minneapolis from New York to Minneapolis to St. Louis, and that's just
In 2015, Bob, we went to St. Louis. We drove there, and that was long.
Nice. All right, so I guess we kind of did the first topic. So it would be distance for local teams. I find it kind of funny that there's teams that are significantly closer to the St. Louis location next year that are going to Houston. I believe the teams in Kansas are going to all going to Houston, and that's
Kansas and Missouri, they're all going to Houston. 2018.
Well, I feel like it's kind of weird specifically for next year because I feel like they're trying to divide it a year early. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like they're dividing for St. Louis and Houston. They're pre-dividing
For
for
Detroit.
Houston and Detroit.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a slightly different division, but it's yeah. I see what you're
they're
saying with that.
two state change.
So I think I think for pretty much everybody, when in 2018 at least, it's gonna all be slightly closer to everybody. Some people significantly closer, especially for the large majority of Michigan teams. I mean, really, that's
Yeah.
why they put it in
Mich-
Detroit.
Yeah,
If you
the
really
reason,
look
Yeah.
at the West Coast, the far West Coast teams,
Doesn't make a difference,
California,
really.
Oregon, Washington, it makes almost zero difference for us.
Slightly cheaper flights.
yeah.
though.
But for like Michigan is still the biggest district at 411
Yeah.
teams.
How many people
And that-
qualify
that
for champs
is-
from Michigan?
70,
77, I think.
77 this year. Yeah.
102 made it to MSC, 77 made it to champs.
So 77 out of 600 is very large. I mean, that's a
Yes,
large amount of
yes.
teams that are now going to have to pay
It's-
very little to go to
But
Worlds.
one thing that I'm wondering about this is, and it's good that it's in Detroit for a lot of the most densely populated teams to be able to go there. But one thing I'm wondering is, how are they going to divide the fields? Are they going to have 4 at each, or are they going to do 8 at each?
Yeah, I saw a thread on Reddit about this. It might be 4 and 4.
I believe that they're reverting to 2014 champs. I seem to remember them saying that it's gonna be 400 at each champs now.
Yeah.
All right.
So that'd be
all
6
right.
fields?
No.
No.
So
it-
that'll be 4 fields in Detroit and 4
And
fields.
4 in Houston.
So that'd be 100
Yes,
people
but-
per field?
yeah, 100 people per field, like it used to be in
Mhm.
2014.
They don't have to do that though. They can
They-
they can do 5 people or 6 people to make the division smaller.
Yeah, but
Yeah. The one thing I was wondering about that is that if they had 8 teams or six divisions at each world championship, there would be significantly more people going to world championships, like there was between 14 and 15.
Wasn't that the goal?
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The goal of...
sorry.
No, you can go.
The goal is to
So
inspire
I mean,
more people.
this year,
Yeah.
this year there's 600 teams at World Championships. Next year, across the 2 championships, there's gonna be 800 teams.
Mhm.
So we get 25% more from this year, or yeah.
Are there any
Yeah.
new regionals for next year? I know there was talks about China regional.
I am not familiar, nor do I pay attention to new regionals popping up since they do not apply to me.
All right.
Yeah.
And there's no new districts for next year, so.
No.
And
I heard
one-
rumors of a Texas one actually.
Oh,
Well-
I heard rumors of like that's never coming. So
I heard one. I heard rumors. Well, I heard rumors of an Ontario district or a California district.
Okay, well,
Those would
I
be-
can tell you those rumors are definitely wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
One-
those would be cool districts to have, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing though is, with all of these different districts, they clearly defined it by the district so that the districts are all going to the same championship. But basically, I'm wondering, since they divided everything, I'm thinking they're going to take into account the percentage in that side of the world, or in that half of teams in first, so that the percentages will go up for Michigan and basically all of the teams that are going, which would mean that Detroit could be dominated by East Coast and Michigan teams,
Yeah.
and there'll be
I-
more of a rivalry there between like a couple districts.
I can see. I mean, it's gonna be fun. Just
Okay. According to Griffin, Ontario might go district.
not next year though.
Like
Period,
2018, maybe.
Well, districts that are going for next year would already be announced. I'm just letting everybody know. This is not stuff that happens in a day. All right, so next thing is cost for farther teams, and I don't think cost is just really changing much for anybody except if you're in Houston or Detroit, Houston or Michigan, or Texas and Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean that's yeah. So we kind of
Well,
already talked about that. Oh, what happened?
Not only is there no transportation costs for us that are close to champs, we also don't need hotel costs.
Yeah, no, it's significantly cheaper.
Question: does anybody have the maps for this? Because I'm trying to find them right now for this discussion.
Hold up. They're on Chief.
You could ask the I would ask the Slack chat. They'll get them for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on Slack chat a couple days ago.
Yeah. So next thing, is champs balanced? And honestly, I think it is. I mean, you're looking at it right now. The Houston one has Texas, California. We have Ontario and Michigan.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, when you're
balanced. Powerhouses are balanced.
yeah. So those are the four powerhouse areas, and they're split up. It's completely random. I mean, like, it's for no reason that happened. It's just geographically how it ended up going. But I mean, it did kind of work out. I think the Houston Champs is gonna be ever so slightly more powerful.
Well,
But we don't know. I mean, hey, look who won at on noon this year. No one expected that.
well,
And hey,
you can't
Michigan team.
doubt the Michigan champs. You can't doubt the Michigan champs.
No,
'cause there's
MSC
gonna
is
be-
legit.
Yeah.
No, there's gonna be not only FIM teams. There's also gonna be 2056, Alum 14.
Well, yeah, Ontario.
Yeah.
Ontario's gonna be in full force, and I mean all the New York teams too. New York had the most teams on Einstein this year, guys. Can't argue with that. Yes, you
I
can.
don't think anybody is. Just saying.
It's our year, guys. All right. So, how do you feel about the more people experience champs thing? So that's the whole point of this. So the more people can experience it. I don't like two champs because as much as my team's never made the World Championships, I will say that right out there, never. We've been a team for 7 years, and we never made it. But I don't. At this point, it's like it's less of a big deal because now there's more slots. It's easier. It's going to be easier to make with waitlist next year. Is the bottom line because if there's no new regionals and no new districts, and there probably is going to be. There's usually a couple new regionals, but there's not going to be that many more slots to fill, and there's 200 more slots.
Well,
so that just
districts
means,
will certainly open up more slots because 2014, I know Pacific Northwest had 18 slots for performance to go to districts, and this year we had 30 slots total to send teams.
it's probably not going to be that significant though, because it is percentage based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, the big thing is there's going to be more waitlist spots.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a team that's going to have 8 waitlist tickets next year, I mean, there's probably a good chance we'll make it. But I don't know. I mean, that's just not the way to make it. I mean, I'd rather it was just harder to make. Like, I wish Worlds just got more and more elite instead of just getting, them splitting it up to make it the same as it used to be to make.
Yeah.
Here's in my
the-
opinion. Okay, you can go.
All right. Well, the thing with that is, if you think about it, it helps. I believe, in my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, but I believe that this having more people at World Championships does grow first a heck of a lot more than if there were fewer. Just because at that point, I know when my team first made it to World Championships, it was a big thing for our community, and more sponsors could get in on it, and it basically boosted our team's numbers for the following years. So in that respect, I believe it would be more beneficial to have more. But I can see where you're coming from, where it doesn't feel like we accomplished as much making it there.
Yeah.
Well, to say the effect on champs on individual people is amazing. Our team made it 2015 when I was a freshman, and the champs experience was amazing. Going as a freshman, seeing all these powerhouse teams compete, it's amazing. And I think First wants more teams to have this experience, but the problem with that is that not all teams are going to be able to play together, and that's part of what makes champs champs.
Yeah. I think that's a big deal. I mean,
So,
what happened?
So one thing that I feel about champs being able to compare 2 times going, once with a team this year without, is I really feel like 2014 it was a great experience, but I don't feel like that this year going with 600 teams instead of 400 teams like 2014. I don't feel like the experience was diminished. I still think the biggest problem with 2 champs is the segregation of the community based on really north and south. I can speak today.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was thinking about is, our team has been fortunate enough to make it to World Championships, 2014, 2015, and 2016. But the major thing is we were there in 2014, where there were only 4 divisions and
400 teams.
400 teams, and there were only 32 spots for Michigan teams at that point. And going into 2015 and 2016, that number has doubled in 2015 and added like 10 more in 2016. But with that, adding more teams almost enriched the experience for me, because having more teams there, you get to experience more robots and more new people. So I feel like it is an improvement to have more, but maybe not with this divided system in which you would get the same amount with just more teams from your area.
Yeah, if it was 8 divisions, 100 teams per division, 1 city, I would love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It's the fact that there's a geographic divide, 2 champions,
Yeah.
and, 2 Hall of Fame winners. I feel like it might divide the FRC community.
Yeah.
And I mean, First doesn't like my pitch for New York, because I said basically, okay, this would be perfect, by the way. I'm just saying. All right, so we have
New York. No.
we have and bad geographic. It's not centralized, but the flights are still not that much more expensive because we're a huge hub. And then it's also a great city for traveling. I mean, there's hotels everywhere. There's not gonna be a hotel shortage ever. We have, and then the venues actually do kind of work out. So the 2 venues that they would probably have to do it in would be Javits Center, which is where the New York City Regional is hosted, and Madison Square Garden.
Oh god.
So-
yeah, because Madison Square Garden's cheap.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
But the Cablevision owns it, and they also sponsor First, so they could probably work something out there. There's weird stuff there, but anyway. So here's what I want to do. Okay, ready for this? So the Javits Center is big enough to host 1,000, probably more than that. It's gigantic. And then we could have fields in the convention center. There's 2 levels. It would work. And then Einstein, opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies would be at Madison Square Garden. It's a mile away, but it's New York City. Walking's fine. There's a subway that goes to the things, and they could have trams too. All right. So it would be hard to work out with pits, so people moving their pits to Einstein. But if there was a 1-hour gap, they had a couple trucks, they could do it. And how sweet would it be to have Einstein finals, opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies at Madison Square Garden, and everybody to be
True.
in New York?
True. I have a question though. If we went to New York, would we all get our own pizza rat?
Of course. No, there's really not that many. Just saying.
I wanted a pizza rat. You got my hopes up.
All right. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. They're probably not gonna do it. They probably don't like it. I mean, they didn't reply to my email, so they don't like it. But I like it. Yeah, I know, Grace. There's also people. But if they had some buses, they had a couple trucks, it could work out. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's definitely it's a possibility. The biggest thing is like it's expensive. Like not just the venues, but like everything for First. It's more expensive. Hotels are more expensive. You know, I get it. But yeah, New
Yeah.
York, telling you
I mean,
guys, it's happening.
With the growth of just First in general, with the current system we have, 2 champs was inevitable, I guess.
Yeah.
If they want the same percentage of teams to get the championship experience, I still love the super regional idea, or everybody go to districts, you know?
Yeah.
Or there's just, because I feel that St. Louis would be a limiting factor for one large champs with 100 teams in each division. So what if we did New York there or something? 1 champs.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was saying like a New York
Yeah.
one champs. And
Yeah.
we do have the infrastructure to do it, but it's just expensive.
Yeah.
Like the Javits Center and Madison Square Garden. I mean, you're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars.
But
even
two
with
champs is also going to be expensive. I know Detroit will probably be
Yeah.
cheap, saying that we need the money, but
Yeah.
still.
yeah, I mean that's kind of what First has done. I mean, St. Louis is a generally depressed area, so is Detroit. So I mean, it's cheaper. Houston's
I thought
not,
that
though.
they were just going to places that had good barbecue. Come on,
Yeah.
Atlanta, St. Louis,
Yeah.
Houston,
Orlando. I don't know about that.
I would love to go back to Epcot.
It's that is
Insane.
definitely not big enough.
No, that's not happening.
I
no.
think that we could just have a Disney World for 4 days. You know, just like have Small World be a division, Epcot be a division.
Here's
that could
something
be an
though.
idea.
I think
have both Disney World and Disneyland as locations for it.
Yeah.
Yes, two champs, Disney World, Disneyland. I would be chill with that.
okay, so
Yeah,
we could
that'd
probably
be
we can
good.
say all this stuff without, but if I think there was some people that were in first at that time, they would probably be yelling at us because tense. But yeah, what's the next thing? More people, more room at the top. So some negatives. Distance for international teams.
Still
I don't
there.
think it's a
I
difference.
would think that would be about the same.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
really help the international teams. It
Except,
just-
actually, if the teams that are going to Houston, it helps a lot because, from what I heard, a lot of the teams that were going internationally actually had to transfer in Houston.
Yeah, I believe Detroit and Houston are both international hubs, whereas
Yeah.
St. is not international.
St. Louis is not a hub for anything.
Detroit is actually the hub for Delta, so anyone coming through Delta, you're automatically most likely guaranteed a flight to Detroit.
Now, one thing I'm looking at is it's just interesting. Some of the countries that are going to Detroit or going to St. Louis next year that don't have first teams in them.
Yeah.
Well,
Th-
that's
Well, it's not FRC. There's also FLL teams.
Oh, you're right. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
FLL and FTC.
What
they,
state would that
they
be?
also cover a couple of those.
India, for example. India has no FRC teams, but they have FLL teams.
So they have one FRC team.
No.
I'm pretty sure Mr. DK over there said they have one FRC team.
Let's check with the Dick Shot.
Yeah. All right. No conferences. I don't know who put that in, but there's still gonna be conferences. They're just
Yeah.
probably gonna be redundant. They're probably gonna be the same thing. I'm
Well,
happy to host the.
They're gonna be separated, which I wouldn't mind them being separated, assuming that they record them
Yeah.
via Twitch and like
Well-
an immediate upload.
They could also just live stream it across for
Yeah.
I figured it.
a big room with a projector.
Yeah. I figured it
Except
also
for remember,
mentioned.
they're 2 different weekends.
Okay.
Yeah.
They actually do have an FRC team. Okay.
Yes, take that, Addy. But no, I think having two different things is cool. Having 2 different conferences, even if they're the same kind of thing, is cool. Just different speakers. We might not have, we might have a different person talk about strategy other than Karthik. So that'll be interesting. but
Karthik could at least do one of them. He could do the Detroit one because it doesn't conflict with Vex Worlds.
he probably will, because it.
Yeah.
I mean, he still is going to support his Ontario teams most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in either case, I'm still gonna see Karthik because I can just drive over even if I don't make it. Drive over Shady, see Karthik, go back.
So I think the biggest thing that no one likes about 2 champs is very simple. No winners. Okay? There's no world champion anymore.
Mhm.
Okay? Now, I know the first is probably just appeasing us, but did they throw that they threw that little bit in that they might make it a televised event,
yeah.
to find
Yeah.
the real world champion, and that would change my entire view on 2 champs, like literally everything. Changing that one thing would make it so I didn't hate 2 champs. In fact, I would like 2 champs if that happens.
But
Yeah.
the one thing would have to be if let's just pretend for a second they are going to do a televised event. They said that they're just musing with it and there's no promises. But if they did, biggest issue for some of the teams is transportation. They'd have to pay to transport both alliances to location.
First might pay for that. Don't forget
Yeah.
they're gonna profit off the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The show is no matter what, it's gonna be profitable. It's probably gonna be
I-
an ESPN, just because that's who First has dealt with in the
Yeah.
past.
No,
Yeah.
have them
Whatever.
team up with BattleBots.
No.
No.
No, that's no.
Those are
2 different things.
2 different audiences.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, I can confirm 6-2-4 is the Indian FRC team and they're from New Delhi. I can
Okay.
confirm.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah. So not Indian FRC teams, 2 champs. But yeah, I mean, if they do that televised event, like, oh, that'd be so cool. Like, imagine like bringing in, I don't know, the Game Sense crewers, like maybe the F4 crew to like commentate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. All
Listen,
F4
for the FRC's
I'm
been
packing my
promoting
bags right
Game
now.
Sense and fun. Okay, we're the only other show. All right, so we're next.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm emailing Frank tomorrow.
Do it.
No, I want us to get a little better before we email Frank.
Well, soon.
Frank knows about it. I mean, he's active enough in the community that he knows what it is. So if he cared that much, he'd email me already. Frank, if you're
Okay.
watching,
We love you.
blink. You know,
Okay.
that's one of my complaints from champs this year was not enough Frank and Woody, and too much Don. Just saying.
Yeah.
And too much Don and random speakers. Out of the people here, so Anthony was at champs. Ryan, were you at
Not
champs?
enough Will I Am.
I was at
Yeah.
Champs.
Not enough Will I Am. Too much Will I Am.
I believe Will I Am had the perfect amount.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, real quick. Let's keep this PG. No
Yeah.
sex.
Hashtag TS. Oh crap. TSI.
MFD.
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 I gotta get better at saying that out loud. I'm really good at typing it. I just.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I mean we kind of, whenever everything, if the show happens, like it'll be cool. But there's more world champions now, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're not actually the world champion. I hope they rename it. So maybe FRC North Championships or South Championships.
Yeah.
So you could say basically the way that we do it in gymnastics for the girls. So actually I'll explain that really quick because that's a similar kind of thing. So in for gymnastics for the women's side, there's a lot of people that do it, crazy amounts. And in order to have more people experience the nationals experience, they actually split it up into two, Easterns and Westerns. So you can never say as a level 9 girl that you were the national champion. You can only say that you were the Eastern champion or the Western champion. I don't know if they're gonna do something similar with robotics. Say like, oh, I was the Northern champion and the Southern champion. It
Yep.
sounds less cool than Eastern and Western, for sure. But I mean, that would make it more sense. That would make more sense.
One-
It
one-
seems weird though if you're labeling yourself as half world champion because there's still another world champion. It seems weird to do that.
Yeah. One of the things I just thought of is it would be a really good phase into that if with the tiebreaker at the end of the finals this year, if they were like first ever co-champions. That would be a way to ease into that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I know Fun said that. They said like they started a year early with that there was two
Yeah.
world champions alliances.
They actually could do that this year because there's a tie. They could have done it.
But they didn't have enough. If they had enough awards, they could have totally done it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. So.
Yeah, that was I Colin had a complaint for this chance, and I totally agree. For Dean's List finals, the opening ceremony sucked so bad because first of all they sat us all in this giant block of seats right in the front. That was amazing, and then they had this band play for another like 3 hours, and then had people talk and we're all waiting to see if we won. Everybody's hoping, and they just sat there and just talked on, and then they decide, okay, let's release 10 at a time, and then bring your hopes up more. Like if they just
No, it wasn't 10. It was 5 at a.
5 at a time.
Five, yeah, 5.
There was a 5 FTC, 5 FRC, 5 FTC, 5 FRC, 5. Like no, please no. Like if they just started opening ceremonies with that, got it out of the way, and then we would have all had a much better time at opening ceremonies. Like
They should just
yeah.
put up a list of all 20 of them all at the same time, and everybody comes up.
And
Those-
I could rage about how that was all run and the fact that
I-
FTC gets the same amount of spots, but yeah, well, listen.
I would think that was almost a tactic to make sure people stay for the entire thing and make sure they get their sponsors in and stuff. Just because I would think that a team that has a person in there would be sitting for the entire time just on the edge of their seat waiting to see.
Yeah, we had a team. We had a person on that was a DL. That was a Dean's List finalist. So I was literally watching at home, watching opening ceremonies just to see if they won.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a lot of
yeah.
people were, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of like closing ceremonies. Like I left closing ceremonies as soon as they announced that 97 won Hall of Fame. Like, I'm not staying
Yeah.
for all these speeches. I'm sorry. I heard enough speeches about how inspired I am and how great First is. Like I didn't need to hear anymore. And I know it's just appeasing sponsors, but it does get really
Okay, so
annoying.
according to the chat, they do 5 at a time in order to be able to market it to the sponsors.
So that is that so they could have more people talk about it.
No, so that you know how First has certain corporate sponsors like Qualcomm and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. They want to market it so that they continue to have the sponsorship, which is why they do 5 at a time. Makes sense as a business model, but
No, you're
not
saying,
for us.
but I'm saying so that they could have more people announce the winners, right?
Yeah.
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 So just more people talking. It's the bottom line. But it doesn't have to They don't have to do that with Dean's List finalists. They can have. How about they have a bunch of corporate sponsors read the Hall of Fame. I mean, bottom line is Hall of Fame should be bigger. I mean, they constantly tell us, oh, chairman's biggest award in first, biggest award in first, biggest award in first, and then they like release the world champion of chairmans like after half the place left.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing I've seen over the years since 2014 and on. It's really they've kind of gone a little downhill with hyping up the Hall of Fame teams.
Well,
Yeah,
they
that-
don't communicate when it's going to happen, and
Mhm.
they have just so much. They have a lot of just announcements in between. I mean, I want to see the Hall of Fame team almost more than I want to see the champions at some points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But
honestly,
I
that's
don't
same.
want to sit through everything.
I mean, I had my bets for Hall of Fame. I didn't bet on 97. I mean, as much as everybody else was betting on 97, I went for a different one. I went with Thunder Down Under.
I was betting for
Because they are first
503.
Australia.
I was betting for 503. They've done so much with the
Frog
robotic
Force,
arm.
right?
Yeah, Frog
Yeah,
Force.
Frog Force. One of the things I saw the weeks before on Cheap Delphi, there was the bets on who was going to be a winning team and stuff. That thread was almost, if not as popular as the thread on who was going to win for Hall of Fame and stuff. So
Yeah.
there is, it's about even on who's going to win the whole thing versus who's going to win the Ultimate Chairman's Award.
Yeah.
It's hyped up through the community. Just I don't believe it's as much hyped up through first as it was before.
Yeah, they need to
Yeah.
fix that. And also, they should say the benefits of Hall of Fame team gets before reading the award. Like, be like, they automatically make champs for the rest of their team's life. They get a spot, the Hall of Fame area, like that kind of stuff. Like, hype it up, get people excited, make more
Yeah.
people want to become Hall of Fame teams.
Yeah.
I mean, but question: which champs do they automatically get to go to?
They're home champs.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
They just get
And
to
then-
switch every year.
No. They go to. How are they gonna do Hall of Fame now though? Because there's gonna be 2 champs. So are the Hall of Fame champs that are closer to their home champs gonna go to that champs, and then new winners go to their home champs unless they do the alternate, the switch out thing?
Well, I know
That's
I know that there's more Hall of Fame teams in the Detroit, St. Louis
Yeah.
area, just because, well, there's more teams that in the start of first from these areas.
Mhm.
First
Michigan.
did start in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I mean,
In New Hampshire.
yeah. So
Yeah.
basically why. I mean, a lot of the beginning Hall of Fame teams are not nearly the Hall of Fame teams you have today. It was so much easier to win back then, naturally. Everything was easier to win back then. It just the,
Somebody's saying there
the
should be a
floors-
literal Hall of Fame. That would be chill.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah. Like
Yes,
a
just
tourist
Put it in
attraction
Dean's
somewhere.
house. Have you guys seen that thing?
We'll put it on his island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's room on that island. Just make a building and then
Is
put
there
like
room
a
on the island?
statue.
Lots of room in that island. How
Well,
much
there's
room?
some room. I don't know exact how much, but there's some room. At
Yeah,
least you
yeah.
can put a statue.
My backyard's ready. Okay, so if anybody
Yeah.
wants to build it there,
Yeah. I think what they should do is they should have a special Dean Award, which is like the golden segue.
yeah,
Yes.
Yes, let's do this.
I like it.
Now we're just digressing.
Yeah, seriously digressing.
All right.
So yeah, I mean the stream's been going on for. We're ending the stream in 6 minutes, so we should probably ask some questions. There's 20 people watching, so drop your questions right now. Drop them.
Not too
Well,
hard.
we have like a 30-second delay till they drop their question.
Drop them.
Drop the questions. Drop the mic. Drop the questions. Let's go.
I can't drop the mic. It's on a boom.
Well, I can. Well, I technically can't drop the mic because my mic is in my laptop.
He can
So,
drop. Anthony can drop the mic. Oh,
All
Anthony
right.
just
I'm
dropped
gonna. While we're waiting on questions, I just have a
Favorite
small story.
cereal. Okay, that's a question.
it. Yeah, there's a question.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's easy.
Cocoa Krispies.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Fruity Pebbles.
All right. Great. That was good.
Let's go with FRC questions.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
FRC, FTC.
Is the
first,
cake
round
alive?
4. What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, paper airplanes.
Oh, paper airplanes. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
I like you.
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right.
I
My
I
view
used-
on that changed. Okay. So, Anthony, you could probably attest to this. Is I don't know. I think I was the only person doing this on our field, but after opening ceremonies, opening ceremonies is basically on noon, I would guess you can say. The next day I got there to do field cleanup. So field reset at Champs has to do field cleanup, and it's hard, and it's like cleaning your house, like scrubbing down, glass
fun.
cleaner.
It's fun.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
fun. And I threw out over 40 paper airplanes that morning.
Just on Newton
And
without
here's the thing.
Einstein.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just from opening ceremonies.
I thought paper airplanes were fun back in 2014, but now being field
Yeah.
reset, I see how big of a nuisance they are. Because I mean, I'm invested in the field as a whole, and I'm having to chase down these airplanes.
Yeah.
And,
And I
like,
mean-
keep 'em from hitting they start during
Here's
finals.
the thing. Everybody always acts like, it's the staff, paid people that are getting paid to clean up these things. It's not always, okay?
It's Karthik. Karthik is cleaning these up.
Yeah, Karthik.
That's
It-
By
sad.
hand.
it's Sam. Sam's cleaning up.
Sam's,
cleaning
I'm
up.
cleaning these. Your paper airplane cleanup is my
I'm
problem.
throwing No, just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, no,
So,
like honestly,
but-
yeah, paper airplanes are really annoying when they're thrown at the wrong times. And also, if we're gonna, throw paper airplanes, can we at least actually throw paper airplanes? Okay, I'm done getting cups thrown, and there was a paper airplane that was like 3 feet long thrown. Like that's what. Eddie, by the way, just flip your camera up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you're low. But yeah,
Okay.
no, like. If they were just at a single time, so say there was one point of Einstein or opening ceremonies or closing ceremonies, probably closing ceremonies would be the best time, less people, and no robots. But if everybody just got it out of their system and they had a competition, they could make it fun and there could be a winner. So say everybody wrote their team number and their name on their airplane, they flew it, and then the one that reached the farthest, they got a prize.
That's the golden segue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Like they did in 2015. Instead of closing ceremonies, do opening ceremonies. That way, it's out of everyone's
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
At that
And
first day, they
And then-
do.
and then
the
ban
US Air
it
Force
after
guy
that.
says, "Drop your airplanes," and then everyone like writes their team number. Whoever gets the furthest gets the golden segue.
And then say that,
Yeah.
if they catch you throwing paper airplanes, your team's going to get a red card. And then you're going to see a lot less people throw paper airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or be
that-
removed from the stands by event staff, like the dome staff.
So Dan says they should put up nets to catch the paper airplanes. And Mark says they should just talk less. So I'm going with Mark's suggestion on that one.
Yeah.
I second
Wanna-
that, but
yeah, and one of the things
it's not the time. Oh, sorry.
one of the things about paper airplanes is that during Einstein, I'm on the edge of my seat for the matches themselves, but every once in a while somebody will throw a paper airplane just as the match is starting, and I see it float down, and I'm like, if that lands on the field, I'm going to be really mad, and everybody
Yeah.
in here is going to like murder that person. But
Well, it's a field fault. That's the biggest issue.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. You just ruined like the match. And if that was the absolute finals match where it was like tied or something, that would be means to replay it. And I know if I was one of the teams that got messed up because
Yeah.
of paper
I would
airplane,
be
angry.
I would hate paper airplanes. It's such a I would never throw a paper. I did not throw any paper airplanes down from the stands this year. I did throw 3 up to the stands, okay? So I consider myself as a good Samaritan. I also cleaned up over 40 of them, okay?
You're
so,
just
Alright,
hitting the
arms
undo
dealer.
button there.
yeah, exactly.
You're an arms dealer. That's it.
No, basically, like, I threw 2 during after Dean's List when I was just walking around, like, and I'm bored. I just, like, threw them up. It's hard to, by the way, throw them up. They don't really
Well,
do that.
where did it go? Did it like come back down or did it stay up?
It hit somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, usually it just hit people. It probably hit the person that threw the airplane, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably not, but basically, like, they're annoying. And like, I saw some ones that it's one thing if you're trying to actually throw the paper airplane, but I saw just, for lack of a better word, just assholes that just like went to the bottom and just like threw them down, or the people that were just throwing them straight down from the top. I saw people throwing them up so that they would come down and hit people harder. Like, what?
You know, I have another story about this, but basically it's beginning to expand. Like at the Michigan State Championships, we were sitting and watching the finals matches there, and there was like these couple guys or whatever that were right behind us that just started throwing a couple paper airplanes and stuff, kind of like championship or world champs is, and it was I was kind of disappointed in them because this is not the place to do that or whatever. But
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
them threw one down, and the top level at Michigan State championships is way up there. But he threw one down, and it actually landed right next to the field, directly into a garbage can, like a 5-inch by 5-inch hole on a garbage can. It was amazing. Oh my God.
We should just all end there. Let's just never throw a paper airplane again.
If there was
Yeah.
a video camera at that point on that throw, it would have been the clip of the year
For like the world.
for Worlds. That
No,
was,
for
that
every,
would have
like-
been the highlight reel.
Like this is not even. I'm telling you, this is like stuff that would go viral in the world. Like this would be on YouTube
Yeah.
front page. Okay.
Yeah.
They
That'd
would-
be perfect brand exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be.
Well,
And that's
so,
the thing. It's bad for brand exposure. If I was a sponsor and I went there and there was just rampant paper airplanes sprawled across the floor, I mean that's where it gets bad. They're cool in the air. It's when they hit the floor that they're not cool.
Yeah.
Unless it was your advertisement that they made the paper airplane out of.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's
because they're-
disrespectful.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
you could take it both ways, but basically,
Well-
if I was giving a speech to something that I sponsored, I would see that as disrespectful, throwing paper airplanes and stuff. But it's all about timing, really, with that. I don't think it should be banned, but I think there should be
a time
a
for
set
it.
time for it, because
Like in 2015, how they did the U.S. Air Force paper airplanes. Like, that was
2015
perfect.
was the worst year apparently, from what I hear.
just like that.
2015 people started like dumping paper things off the top and stuff. I heard. Wasn't there?
This year was actually relatively mild compared to
Yeah, that's what everybody was
2014.
saying. Everybody's saying, and I think it's probably definitely due to partly from the Chief Delphi thread.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we've hit our time limit, so we're gonna go into the post show. There's gonna be a 1-minute break now between the post show and the real show, so that people can go to the bathroom. So, yep. Thank you guys for watching this episode of F4. You're welcome to stay, of course, for the post show. But if you're watching this and you know the archives, then you have no post show. So thank you guys for watching. Awesome episode. First episode of season 2. Won't be the last. We're going all the way until kickoff next year with season 2.
Oh,
yep.
So yeah,
Hey.
It's a long season too.
yeah, exactly. Season 1 was
So-
just a little
so-
short.
I have a question. Are we doing one every Sunday?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So what are we going to talk about every time? Or if we're gonna find stuff?
So yeah, come the summer, yeah, I guess I
Body's
could talk
love
about this. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of topics that we can still line up. I mean, this can go for a while. And then we're also gonna do some more technical discussions once it comes to
Yeah.
summer. We've done a lot of like discussions about events and discussions about different controversies, and controversies are cool. I mean, probably
Yeah.
our most popular episode ever was the regionals versus district episode. I mean, I had people coming up to me in the airport to talk about that episode, but like. We're not always going to talk about controversy. We have people like Acid on our group, who's amazing with technical stuff, and I'm sure he has a lot to say about that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be
And
fun.
we're also gonna do like stuff about like how to scout, how to
Yeah.
improve your scouting.
So we're gonna
things
do
like that.
some learning resources, and
There are a lot of off-season events. So.
yeah, and absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. And I'm gonna try to get. This is stuff that's completely in the works. But how Game Sense does their commentating kind of thing. I'm gonna see
Yeah.
if we can maybe set that up for an off season.
Don't do it for IRI because that'll overlap with Game Sense, but definitely try to do it for some of the
Wasn't-
Michigan off
Yeah.
seasons.
But
So I mean, it just comes down to it. Will probably start off with somewhere where I am, just because I have the equipment to do it. I mean, because if we're gonna do that, they're gonna also expect to host the live stream.
Yeah.
So it'll probably end up being either a Mar or New England event.
yeah.
But yeah, maybe
Come
we'll
to
do it.
Alright.
come to Michigan for one of the events. Then you can do
I'll just,
probably March.
I'll take my bus over to Michigan. Maybe I'll
There you
take
go.
my paper airplane over there. But anyway, guys,
Yeah.
thank you for watching. Everybody just say goodbye. Let's do this.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. climber is still all the way extended from when they tried to climb in the match. And basically, they had a cart that rose about 3 feet above the ground.
Muted for everybody.
Yeah, I unmuted it.
Okay.
Sorry. So yeah,
What was
you can start over.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So anyway, I was the driver for Team 4391 on Tesla Field. So basically what happened is there was a robot that we were playing against that they had their climber fully extended when they came off of the field. And their cart rose about like 3 feet off the ground to the surface of where their robot was. And then their robot was about 6 feet above that. And they went to go through the doorway to leave. The rest of the team, they were kind of down because they didn't win the game or didn't do as well. I didn't see them very much, but basically the 3 people, which is the coach, the operator, and the driver, went ahead, and their human player was pulling the cart through the doorway, and the top of their climbing mechanism clipped the top of the doorway, and it fell backward, and our stuff was right behind there. And me and our human player ran up to try to catch it, but it just slammed to the ground. It was... Oh, I hurt my hand doing that, but I felt so bad.
I caught a
for them.
controller once.
Yeah,
This season?
yeah. That I saw a lot of that this season too. But
Like it
Yeah.
flew off and I was like, boom, ha did it, and then put it
Yeah.
back on the table.
But it was just, I felt so bad for them.
All right, second topic, Addie's love life. All right, Addie, take it
Okay.
away.
So this is a surprising
Are we
thing
actually
that
talking about this?
Anthony brought up. Anthony brought up a weird thing after. So there's this girl I like who goes to my school, and basically we don't want to date. None of us want to date, but it looks like, yeah, it looks like my love life's weird. Yeah.
Hook up.
No, it's no casual. Yeah, yeah. I wish I could send a picture, but I can't. So,
I can.
oh yeah, good point. Do it, Sam. Do
It's
it.
happening. Wait,
What?
I might have just broken that. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, cool.
Wait, are you sending it?
Oh, it's happening. Okay, so where's that picture anyway? It was up on the
It's
chat.
on the Slack thing. It's on Slack.
Which channel is that in?
It's on general.
general.
Okay,
You posted it in
Wait.
general, and nobody
Wait, no,
else
no.
knew what you were talking about.
No, sorry, never mind. Random.
Random.
Never mind, it's on
that
random.
makes more
More
sense.
viewers from
Aha! Aha!
Wait, let me see. Is it up? Is it up?
It's up now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. There's a
It's-
delay.
It's
a
no,
little
it's
bit
it's a
of
delay. So
It's a delay.
I'll just put this on Addie's side. There we go.
Lost
So
a viewer.
that's the person. So yeah. All right. Let's get off this topic. This has nothing to do with robotics.
Yeah.
Next topic. Oh yeah. Wait, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh
It
yeah,
just
feet
pops up.
saving. So
Oh,
yeah, it's happening, guys. It's happening. I'm bringing my CD thread to
Alright.
you guys.
Hey.
So yeah, that was my thread for anybody wondering. Someone said very
we're
cool.
gonna debate this.
Yeah. So I started a thread about CD. So we might have a full episode about this, possibly. But
No, Sam, just save everything for a full episode because it is a full episode worthy.
there's only 14 people watching. And
Nah.
like,
It's not. It's
I-
not
I-
worth your full episode.
Well, at least half an episode, like sometime over the
we'll
summer.
probably discuss it in more depth. I mean, the thread's not even over, so you
Yeah.
know, there's gonna be
Well-
more.
We'll discuss it more. We can, yeah, we
Uh,
can.
Let's brush on it.
Let's brush up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, does it disturb anyone else that 1678 is trying to defend their seat saving,
Okay.
despite the fact that it's
let's not
clearly
call
against
out
the rules?
teams. Let's
Yeah,
not
let's
call
not
out.
call
They
out teams.
publicly they're publicly doing it. I wouldn't call out a team if they didn't publicly do it. It's public. Everybody can see that.
Anyway, well, I can see where they're coming from, though, with their perspective here. I mean, this is an issue that is becoming more and more apparent as there are more teams going to regionals and districts and world championships. And it's really coming to a head as the years go on and more teams are there. But I can see where they're coming from, where they have a lot of people and they want to keep the team together and they want to try to stay together for watching the finals and stuff, because it's a big thing to have the championship experience with your entire team. But the first rules do prohibit that kind of activity, and I don't believe that they prohibited it for that exact. They didn't mean to cause another problem by trying to prohibit it and saying, if the other people take those seats, you can't have your teammates sit there.
I mean,
But this is what makes it a really debatable issue. But
the thing is, like, especially, I mean, if we're just gonna, touch on their team in particular, they don't have issues really for Einstein seating, at least for the last 3 years. They have a section that's reserved for them, and if they're just gonna say their basic argument, and I mean, this was mostly a single person from their team. Once another person from the team chimed in, they kind of toned it down a little bit. I noticed that a lot. So I don't know if there might be some internal conflict on the fact that they did mention this. So
remember, one person doesn't always represent an entire team.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's kind of what the other person who chimed in was kind of say. He was kind of just like, okay, look, we're gonna take a step back real quick. And he said it a lot better. Here's one thing that really, really annoys me. When people say you're allowed to sit with our team, alright? You're not able to disallow someone, okay? This is something, I called someone out in our chat for this. And, you can't let someone sit with you, okay? You can't tell a person they can't sit with you, at all. You can be like, okay, yeah, hey, listen, that's a seat for our scouters, so if you could you please not sit there? But as soon as you say you cannot sit here, you're explicitly breaking the rules.
Well,
just be polite about it. Use common sense.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody really wants to sit there, I guess you should let them. But I feel like there's also common courtesy, by being like, hey, can I sit here? Just let somebody sit there, or if it doesn't have a really big impact, but if it's not that big. But if it's like a big deal, like really good scouting, ask them if they could sit somewhere else. They don't have to comply, but if they're decent people, I guess they would probably comply.
I mean, I had an issue. The reason why I was prompted to do the whole thing is I had an issue with a particular team. That was a very, very, very large team that took up the best section you could go to. That wasn't reserved for Einstein teams. They took up more than half of the section. All right, that's a problem. And again, I'm not gonna call it the team. All I said, and I'll say the same thing I said in there, it was not a bad team. In fact, top 1% of FRC. And I mean, it's concerning. I mean, the conflict went right way above, just not saving a seed. There was a lot of yelling. A kid jumped next to me and tried to physically intimidate me. It was a little bit much. But the bottom line is, that's the kind of thing. If you're a team that's going to take up that much space in a section, you need to not be in the best section. I mean, just out of common courtesy.
Physically holding those seats. If you're physically sitting in the seat.
But even if you are physically holding the seat, it's still kind of rude. I'm sorry. Just if you're a team of that size and you want to sit together, totally admirable. Go to a worse section. I'm like, it's just.
Well, that's just one part that I believe. It's at any venue, if you've got a large group with you, you're preferred to sit in these seats versus other seats, but in all reality, it's the same amount of people getting the good seats as would get the outside seats or whatever.
Except, I mean, at least at championships, volunteer seating was terrible. I don't know, Anthony, did you end up sitting in volunteer seating?
No. 2990 had an extra wristband, so I was sitting literally as close to Einstein Mass Field as physically possible. In the very center is beautiful seating.
Yeah, so I mean, but Einstein volunteer seating was at the top, the top of the dome. That's a problem. I mean, I probably could segue into a different topic. Is that, I mean, listen, if you're not on Einstein already, they have Einstein reserve seating for teams. There should be, the section right next to that should not be people figuring out. It should be volunteer seating.
Yeah, thank the volunteers, because.
I mean, I'm not saying that just as a bias of being a volunteer. But I mean, I don't think any teams would disagree with it. I mean, that should be a nice. I mean, it doesn't cost them anything to reserve this section for them. Another thing is volunteers can't hold seats. Yeah. They can't get there in the morning and get a good seat for Einstein. because we're volunteering. You know, I got to get out of my field a little bit after elimination matches to go find a seat because we cleaned up the field slightly, had a meeting, and left. I mean, Anthony was right there. He was with me the whole time.
Yeah.
If he didn't have reserve seating, he would have been in the same boat as me, trying to find a good seat and being a single person. And he probably would have went with me just because. You know.
I was actually gonna hang out with some other teams, but
he doesn't like me. But
no, I like you, but I had
he likes $29.90 better, which is understandable. $29.90 is cool.
Yeah, I mean,
$29.90 does have a cool facility.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So, yep. So I know more about Oregon teams than Anthony.
I'll fight you. But
In the stands, over a seat. That's it.
yes, only over a seat, and only if it's Einstein reserve seating. There's nothing else worth fighting for.
Yeah. Oh, I did
We'll
fight.
let a regional fight over a seat.
So I legit I went over there and I knew sitting there I was taking someone's seat. I was not. If there's a giant section and there's a seat, it wasn't an aisle seat, may I add. So it wasn't like I was sitting in the middle of a team. But if there's a giant block of seating and there's 2 little seats right on the aisle, I obviously know these seats are probably reserved. But you know, I know my rights as a firster. I knew I could sit there. So I went over there, and you know, the first thing I would do is I got stormed by parents, and they were just like, no, people are sitting there, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's cool. You might want to reference Admin Manual 4.112. 4.12, and they were just like, what's that? I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll bring it up on my phone for you, and then I showed it to them, and they're just like, what are you talking about? We always save seats, and I'm like, and it's always against the rules. And then they started screaming at me, telling me I was rude, and then I was just like, hey guys, I volunteered the whole time. As you guys sat down. I mean, none of the people that were there were actually scouts or drive team or anything, so they were just spectators. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was rough. But yeah, listen, I ended up getting decent seats. They weren't as good. Because even though I knew my rights, of not having to move, I didn't want to sit with a team that was, yelling at me the entire time.
So in the chat, I've seen a lot of people suggest being able to reserve seats in Tim's.
Yeah.
The problem I see with that is that you don't know what people on your team are going to come to Worlds until the last minute.
Yeah, you never know.
That's
just gonna end up with empty seats.
The only 2 groups, 3 groups that I ever think should have reserved seats are Einstein teams. I don't think anybody has an issue with that.
Volunteers,
and reserved scouting sections.
Well, at least not for Einstein.
Not for Einstein.
No, not for Einstein.
There should be a reserved VIP section.
Yeah, no. I'm just talking about at events in general. I believe that there should be a designated scouting section because I think that scouts from all teams should have seats.
Here's the issue. Well, first of all, first is not acknowledge scouting at all. They don't acknowledge it exists. Figured I'd mention that quickly. And then also, people all find where they like to scout different. So some teams like to be really up close to scout. Some teams like to be all the way at the top to scout. So there can't be a single section for scouters.
Yeah.
My idea that I posted on the thread was stickers. So removable stickers that they could stick on seats. And they would have your team number. And everybody would get 7 stickers. So you can go to your section, and those could be your only reserve seats. Mm-hmm. Maybe that would work. People could maybe steal stickers, and that would be a problem. And we have actually, our team in particular has had stuff stolen at events, so, I mean, it could be a possibility that someone would steal stickers.
Especially your team's so swaggy. We all want your swag.
No, we had, tools.
Are you admitting to stealing from us?
I thought you were talking about, t-shirts.
No, and we had, tools and, parts.
That's actually sad.
We had wheels stolen. Yeah. We had to, put it this way, we had a, we were switching out our wheels for our shooter because we routinely did that, and because we had high grip wheels and they get worn down, and someone stole our hub, so we had to go find a hub, and there was no more half-inch hubs in the area. Oh yeah, we did steal Nick's Allen key set. So, sorry, Nick. Well, Team 5202's And we also stole their battery beak, but we gave it back. That was a mistake. Um,
I have a story about stealing stuff. From
yeah,
our
no, but
match.
basically we had the hub stolen. So then we had to go find someone who had the hub, and no one had a half-inch hub, which is probably why it was stolen. It was probably a team completely out of desperation. But we did find a 3/8 hub. So yes, we sat there with a hand file and made that half-inch. Yeah,
Like 3/8 hex or
3/8 hex. Yep, we did it.
Really quickly, can I say something about stealing stuff?
Go for it.
Our first event this year was the Escanaba Regional, which is the closest event to where we live, actually. But basically, we were the first seeded alliance and the event winner, but we went to leave and we packed all our stuff up, and it's once making it through finals and stuff, you have more of a limited amount of time to pack your stuff up before
Yeah.
award ceremonies start.
Yeah.
So we very quickly packed it all in together. We were like the last ones in our pit area, kind of.
Mhm.
And we quickly packed it all, put it in the trailer, and then went out to award ceremonies and got everything. I think we packed like half of it, and then the second half we waited because we had to run back to awards. But after that, we got back and we packed it all in after awards was done. We got back, and then the next day I looked and I was like, well, I need to find all the winners banners so we can know where to put them to display them. I looked, we got the winners banners from it, and oh crap, we have a chairman's award banner from a Traverse City team that accidentally left their stuff. I'm not kidding, we didn't try to steal it, or they left their chairman's award banner on a table right next to our stuff.
Mhm.
And one of our mentors actually just thinking, oh, this is our banner, because it was seriously really close to our stuff, but
Yeah.
we just packed it away and said, all right, we're good. So
did you figure out what team it was?
Yeah. And
Okay.
it was funny because it was a Traverse City team, and our next event was Traverse City, so we just gave it back to him at the next event.
Yeah.
So we technically, but not really, stole a chairman's banner.
We the story
It
of
was-
the
it was
battery
all
beak goes so basically we were practicing at 5202's base for 2 days. So they just had a couple field elements. We ended up helping out with the robot. It was less for competitive advantage and probably more for just like let's hang out with a different team, which is cool, like totally cool. I met Nick. But anyway, we were using their battery beak because we just didn't bring ours. We were actually using their batteries too. Actually, no, we didn't use their batteries. Yeah, basically we just packed their battery beak away. And no one realized that until like a couple weeks before our regional. Or not a couple weeks before, a week before the regional, we went to pack. And someone goes, "Where did we get a second battery beak?" Holding up the 2 battery beaks. I'm just like, oh. And then we ended up, no, wait, no. Now I remember. Okay, wrong. It was, we were starting to pack up for, a practice at Townsend Harris's facility, and we realized we had 2 battery beaks, and so we brought one of them with us, because we needed a battery beak, and then I saw Nick's team there, and we gave him back his battery beak. That's right, see? Got it. That story was terribly told.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe next time it'll be better.
Oh, and also, do you know Team 3044 from New York?
Tech
That's
Knights?
It's like Oxbow or something.
3044?
Yeah,
3419? I don't know what team 3044.
I think it's 3044. They're out of New York, I know.
Oh, it might be upstate. Yeah, no, sorry. Upstate?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'll explain. I do this every episode, but I'll explain. New York City and Long Island teams don't care at all. Upstate might as well be Mar, might as well be New England for us. It does not make... I know more New England and Mark teams than upstate New York teams. It's a different place, yeah.
Well, anyway, after the event and stuff at World Championships, we were putting our stuff back and packing it up again, and one of the field guys came up, and apparently 3044, they were on Tesla with us,
Mhm.
and their color is purple, and our color is purple.
Mhm.
So they gave us their flag. One of the volunteers came up and handed us the flag because it was purple and we were purple, and it was like, "This isn't our flag. This is 3044." And they were like, "Well, 3044 left or something." There was something like that.
Anthony, 1 second. Anthony, your webcam's down. Anthony?
I think he left.
No, he didn't leave. Alright, we'll just leave that picture of him up. The format
Yeah.
is not terrible.
It sounds great.
Yeah,
It looks great.
yeah, I
But
agree.
anyway, I have to get in contact with them actually tomorrow because we still have their flag, because they were like, the staff was basically like, the guy we were talking to basically was like, "Yeah, we don't know what to do with it. If anything's left over, we'll have to mostly just throw it away or
Yeah.
whatever." So it's like, all right, we'll take it, and I'll get in contact with them and send it back to them. It was one of their flags on the field that, you know, they wave right before a match. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I've got to get in contact with them tomorrow to get the flag to them.
So, scary thing that just happened in the chat is Nick's team apparently was talking about stealing our robot. Nick, would you like to comment on that? Would that be GP? You guys seated
my.
higher than us too, so might have not been the best decision competitively. So yeah, I don't know. Let's hear it, Nick. Let's hear the reasoning behind stealing our robot. So, hey, anybody in
With
F4
love.
chat want to come on? If it was with love. Alright. Alright, I'll give it to you. If it's love. Ooh. Alright, so,
Tensions.
anybody currently in F4 chat want to come on and replace Anthony?
Yeah, anyone like right now?
Why not? Come on. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times.
Oh, by the way, one other thing, as long as we're off of the subject of stealing stuff, I was wondering is, what do you guys think about the autonomous modes throughout the season?
What about him?
Like, how much it influenced the game and the outcome and stuff like that, how much of an advantage it was to take those points at the beginning, and if it was 100% worth it.
Whoa. Nick, what's
What?
up?
Yo, let me focus my camera.
What is it? Nick? Your camera is worse than. Oh.
No.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, nothing
Sorry,
is,
Addy.
so-
Possible.
Well, your mic's worse than mine, so.
Yeah, probably. I mean, how bad is it?
No,
No,
now
no,
it's
it's much better.
All right.
So yeah, Anthony, I would like you to comment on why you felt the need to steal a robot.
You said Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm not Anthony.
I know. You're in Anthony's box.
So this is actually what happened. So, me and Julio and I think Aaron, we're just kind of kicking back. For anyone who doesn't know, these are our team members. Aaron's our co-captain, and Julio's just he's a kid, cool kid. And so we were just kind of like kicking back, working on a robot after they had left, and they left a robot at our place, so Julio just kind of looked at me and goes, "Nick, what if we stole their robot?" And then that was it.
Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot that we actually left the robot at your facility.
Yeah.
Man, you guys could have ruined us.
Nah, we wouldn't have.
Yeah, that would have been that would have been
I'll
bad.
just dribble some solder
So what-
over your PDB.
What
RP.
broke at that next match?
God, actually, we had a pretty bad failure at Long Island. Actually, no, our
The
worst one was
carpet?
the carpet one. We had field tape in our pulley, so like our right drivetrain just died, and we were like, "What just happened?" Like I go in, check the can connections, nothing's wrong. I'm like, "Okay, you two pick this up, I'll run it." and just like we stalled. And I was like, what?
Heel tape.
Look. Yep, field tape and fully.
So
We
it
won
could have
the
been a
match,
Field's
so-
fault, but they won. So
So he was like, why replay it?
Yeah.
Nick, just move your camera down.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah. So the 13 people can see it.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, what do they want to see? I mean, they can see my 2 Sigma shirt. I mean,
They can see my first championship
Yeah.
volunteer shirt.
and
Nice.
I can see my
polo
bad
shirt.
webcam, my bad webcam camera.
We can go through all the swag in the back from championships.
oh my god.
Yeah.
And let me pull up the stream so I can actually see your swag.
All right. So
It'll take a little while, but they can see my 4391 custom hat
Oh, nice.
Hey,
and my 8 drive buttons over the last 2 years.
Oh my god. Hey, let me go get some of my team swag. Hold up.
8.
How do you get
I've
8?
been a driver for
Oh,
2 years.
2 years. 4 events. Jesus Christ. 1 second.
We bought these windbreakers. I don't know how well you guys can see these at all.
Oh, that looks pretty cool. Is that a
Yeah.
Florida League on it?
nice.
Yeah, our Fleur de Lis
All right.
school logo.
So I got
Nice.
some of my swag from championships. Some of my favorite swag. So I got obviously other stuff. First favorite swag. We got an exploding bacon, pig.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's
What
Badass.
are it made out of anyway?
rubber.
Like foam.
Okay, 'cause it looked like when you sent the picture of your desk earlier, I was like, is that ceramic?
No. It's like
Oh, okay, I see it on the stream now.
yeah,
Yeah.
squishy. It's like a stress ball.
It's
This
like,
was
it's like
badass.
those orange brains you
It's
get.
so they gave this out to all the Dean's List finalists. To like it's like a hot mug. It says Dean's List award on it. Oh, that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Then they gave volunteers water bottles. So got my hot drinks and my cold drinks covered. This is the coolest thing though. So at the Dean's List ceremony, they had these in the middle of the table, filled with popcorn, and one person at every table got to take it, and everybody at my table left without taking it. So I got it.
Nice.
Nice.
There's still like some popcorn like in there. So I ate all the popcorn that was like big enough to eat. But yeah, all the crumbs and stuff are still there. And the kernels. Although not too many kernels, I'm impressed first. Good job popping popcorn.
Oh, that's a lot. That is a big tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Sam, have you ever heard of Scrapple?
Scrapple?
Yeah, it's kind of a Long Island thing. So I thought you might have heard of it.
No, why? What is it?
Okay, so it's like imagine Chex Mix but made with margarine.
What? I've never heard of this.
And so like we make this every year and bring it out to my family on Long Island, and I don't know, I heard it was a Long Island thing, so I thought you might know it.
No, it's not a Long Island thing. I can. At least it's not. Is it Suffolk County or Nassau County?
No, this is West Islip.
Is that Nassau or Suffolk? I don't even. I think that's Suffolk.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So now we'll go into some more geography. So Long Island has towns, hamlets, and counties. Okay. So my town is technically actually a hamlet. Most
Wait,
people's
like
towns are
Shakespeare play?
hamlets. Huh?
Like the Shakespeare play?
No.
Yeah,
So Hamlet-
exactly.
It's basically a small town, but it doesn't have like a government really. We're under what's called the town of Oyster Bay. We don't live in Oyster Bay. We live in Bethpage. The town of Oyster Bay is like a bunch of towns, a bunch of hamlets forming to one town. So town of Oyster Bay is like our government, our local government.
Okay, shoot, guys, I have to go because my battery's gonna die in 17 minutes. And I took my charger, so
All right.
and I should go to sleep. So
Yeah,
see
we
you
should
guys.
all probably go to sleep. So
9:35.
We're on the
you think I get to sleep right after I leave here? Okay.
No.
Well-
I still have a salad to eat. Okay.
That's a
Um,
pretty daunting task.
Yeah, I have an entire bag of chips I have to eat. And I mean, I just pre-crushed them too, so
So
good.
what, you can drink it down? Just gonna drink the whole bag of chips down?
Yeah, and I have a choice, so I can do either a hot cup or a cold cup. First, supply me with both.
Alright. Wow.
Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I feel like half the people here are not even watching at this point.
yeah.
Oh, they're having their own
We're down to 11.
conversation in the comments. Let me tell you.
No one's talking in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
Dan's
enough.
bragging about his volunteer swag.
I just want to say this is my most prized possession from first this year. Just because.
Why did wait? Actually, I have a question.
Why
with
do
that.
I have this?
Yeah, because only volunteers got those, right?
Because I am really, really good friends with a volunteer.
The volunteer coordinator or just a volunteer? Because we weren't allowed to have extras.
Very, very. I can't say names because I think they'll get in trouble for it.
They will.
But-
But it was it a volunteer coordinator or is it just a normal volunteer?
It was. I don't want to say now.
Okay, wait, it's all right.
But
yeah, I have a
but
Noon
I
one.
I have really, really good friends, and this is my most prized possession.
I have a Noon one, but that's probably more prized. I bet I would sell on eBay for more.
I bet I'm never gonna sell it on eBay.
Just
bet no
put it
one-
up and just see how much it goes for, and then leave it.
Yeah. No, like they were really serious about security
Buy
on
it
Noon.
now, $3 million.
Like doing field reset on Noon also means that we had to kick people off Noon because field
Yeah.
reset is security.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. And you don't realize how many people I kicked off the field. So many people try to sneak on the field for Newton.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Like,
Yeah,
right
same,
now.
let's do this.
See ya.
Alright,
Yeah.
see ya.
See you guys. Bye, guys.
So
See
yeah,
ya. Bye. So